What's up guys, my name is Devin, also known as FBE, and welcome back to another episode of Footballrs. Today we're going to be bringing you guys a very special video. We have taken it upon ourselves to share some of the drippiest guys in the NFL. We're going to start this video off by talking about a best helmet setup in the NFL, the best glove game, and then the best cleat heat. After we wrap those up, we're going to be talking about the guys with the most drip at each position. We will have a single winner and then a runner-up, and I'm going to briefly explain why I chose who I chose. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get into it. For our best helmet setup, we have chosen Jalen Ramsey. His setup was definitely one of the most unique we've ever seen. He wore Riddell's Flex with a unique custom face mask. The face mask is the Ramsey mask, and this is a mask he had built for himself. It has multiple jagged eye bars with horizontal bars on top and unique jagged bars over the lower area. Lastly, this mask has a V at the very top, which is the Roman numeral for Jalen Ramsey's number 5. He also wears a Sports Star Victory T-Rex Hurricane and a white chin strap sleeve, which is a super clean look. Then to top it all off, he wore Oakley's 20% Pro Visor. The Rams equipment staff actually had to cut the clips to get this visor to fit. What an insane setup. Now the next award we have is the best glove game. This year we decided that AJ Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles has the best glove game. Not only did AJ Brown pull out some of the best PE gloves, he also wore a couple of throwback pairs as well. Something us equipment guys love to see. His most notable and most worn pair is the Nike VaporJet 7.0 PE. He wore them in green silver, white and silver, and black and green. He also wore a camo Salute to Service pair during November. AJ Brown also pulled out some Nike VaporJet 3.0s. These were a nice, unique throwback glove. You don't really see a lot of guys wearing the VJ3s, and these are a classic pair of gloves. And the black and silver colorway was sick. The next pair he wore is some regular Nike VaporJet 5.0s. He rocked these in all white. Then he also wore the cold weather VaporJet 5.0s for a cold game in all white. Lastly, he wore a pair of the older Nike VaporNet 2.0s. He wore them in black and white. AJ Brown had a great rotation of gloves this season. I think he's well deserving of the best glove game. Now for probably the coolest award, who had the best cleat heat. I think you guys might have guessed from our weekly cleat heat series, but this year it has to go to Deebo Samuel. Since joining Jordan Brand this offseason, Deebo Samuel has been wearing some of the most ridiculous cleat heat we've ever seen. Most of these are custom constructions by the super talented @CodaCustom, so show him some love on Instagram. Deebo had so much cleat heat this season, so we're going to try and condense it and show you guys photos of each pair. Jordan 1 Dior's, Jordan 5s in black and red, Jordan 6 Carmines, Jordan 10s in all gold, the Jordan 12 Flu Games, the Jordan 12 OVO, the Jordan 12s he wore for My Cause My Cleats, the Jordan 14 Ferrari, the Jordan 14 in white and red, and finally the Nike Dunk Cactus Plant Flea Market. Now here are some of his Jordan PEs directly from Jordan Brand. The Jordan 1 Chicago. These Jordan 1s, white on white, then another pair of ones, black on white. And that is all of them. What a ridiculous season of cleat heat from Deebo Samuel. Let me know if I missed any in the comments below.
Today's video is sponsored by Temu. Now I'm assuming most of you watched the big game yesterday where Temu actually released their first commercial, and they're super proud of it. Temu is an online marketplace where they encourage you to shop like a billionaire, where they give you access to tons of high quality products at extremely low prices. They carry all of your favorite categories that you already know and love, like technology, sports, fashion, home, anything you could think of. And right now, because of that commercial, they're running a game day promotion that should get you up to 90% off some of their items. You can also click the link in the description down below, which will give you an additional 30% off, or you can also use my coupon code, which will be down there as well. Personally, I'm gonna look at picking up some of these hexagon LED panels for my new studio I'm building out right now. You can shop at temu.com, or you can just download the app, where there you have a chance to win $100,000 on February 15th. Thanks Temu for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's get back to it.
Now this next segment is going to be showcasing the best drip from each position. I've carefully selected a winner and a runner-up from the following positions: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, interior defensive line, edge, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. I am going to briefly explain to you guys why I chose the guy and showcase some of their best drip for you guys. Keep in mind, these are totally based on my personal opinion. I want you guys to drop your own awards in the comments below. Starting out with QB, I have chosen Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. For me, even as a Giants fan, I can admit Jalen Hurts has one of the cleanest looks of any quarterback in the NFL. I'm a huge fan of the Riddell Flex Oakley combo, and then his eye black is pretty cool as well. For arm accessories, I do like his combination of the wristbands and then of course his wrist coach. Also, the occasional glove on his non-throwing hand is a nice touch. Then of course, the real reason he's up here is his insane rotation of Jordan Brand PE football cleats. Despite not being signed with the brand, Jalen brought out so much heat, it was ridiculous. We will quickly show you guys all the different J's from this season. My favorite has to be the iconic Concord, or maybe the black and green 12s. This year's runner-up is going to be Kyler Murray. I am a massive fan of K1's drip, and if he had played the whole season and wore all the crazy cleats Nike had planned for him, he probably would have finished number 1. K1 has a super clean helmet setup, a crispy baggy arm sleeve look, and some of the greatest cleats in the game. He had an amazing rotation of Nike VaporEdge 360 Pro 2s, Nike Diamond Turf 96s, and then of course the Panda Dunk cleats. We actually got a pair of his Nike VaporEdge 360 Pro 2.0s that he didn't get to wear because of an injury. Check out all the crazy details. At running back, I have chosen Miles Sanders of the Philadelphia Eagles. Throughout the season, Miles was on my radar, but he really popped off in the playoffs. He's worn his Riddell Speedflex with a couple different custom face masks, most recently that insane Ramsey mask we just talked about. Then of course that 20% tint visor and that neon green mouthguard just looks so good with those Philly uniforms. But the main reason he is here is the Cleat Heat. Miles has been pulling out some serious stuff this year. Take a look. For a couple games this year, he wore some Nike Vapor Edge 360 Pros inspired by the Kobe 6 Grinch. Then he also wore some black and white LV off-white Nike Dunks, which is crazy. Then also, just like his quarterback, he pulled out some Jordan 11 Concords. And then finally, he somehow got his hands on the Oregon team exclusive Nike Diamond Turf 96. These are some of the craziest cleats we've seen all year from anyone, and this gave him the edge over one of my favorite guys, DeAndre Swift. Now yes, the runner-up at running back is going to be DeAndre Swift. I've been a massive fan of Swift's drip in the past, and this year he stepped it up even more. He rocks one of my favorite helmet setups, a Speedflex with a custom face mask and a super stealthy 20% tint Oakley visor. He always keeps it clean with the arm sleeve, matching gloves, and then custom thigh pads. Lastly, he has a pretty good cleat rotation, and his all-black accessories game was one of my favorite looks from anyone all year. It's no secret that wide receiver is probably the position with the most drip, so this was tough. I have decided to give it to the Cleat Heat King, Deebo Samuel. Deebo might be the drippiest guy in the entire league week in, week out. His Speedflex setup is hard. He mixes up his visors. The chin strap sleeve is unique and pretty clean. And then again, the neon green mouthguard is crispy. Crispy. Cream. He rocks that padded arm sleeve like nobody else. And then those Jordan PE VaporJet 7.0s are crazy. Then you have his custom Deebo thigh pads. And then of course, we talked about it already, the cleats. Oh my gosh. We already talked about his cleats, but unreal Cleat Heat, really. Just like the most crazy Cleat Heat you can imagine. I had an impossible time trying to choose a runner-up for wide receiver. There's Jay Jettas, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, but I have chosen Davante Adams. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on this pick, but what can I say? I still think the Shut Air XP with the EGOP face mask is one of the coolest looks for skilled players, and nobody rocks it better than Davante Adams. Then you have that dark visor, PE Jordan gloves, that little forearm band, and in my opinion, the best Jordan brand PE cleats. Just take a moment and take a look at all the insane Jordan brand PE heat he wore this season. On to tight end. Tight end, honestly, is one of the more underwhelming positions when it comes to drip in the NFL. Despite not playing a ton this year due to injury, I've selected Kyle Pitts. I am a sucker for the F7 setup with the EGOP face mask, and I think it looks even better on a tight end. Then the occasional turf tape, Jordan PE gloves, and then of course the Jordan PE cleats sealed the deal for me. Honestly, if you have Jordan brand cleats on, I'm just going to put you higher in this list. No, not really. The runner-up here has to be David Njoku of the Cleveland Browns. So far, we haven't seen a lot of Adidas guys, but that changes here. Njoku has some pretty cool stuff on for a tight end. Speedflex, lip guard, mouth guard, crazy pregame visors, arm sleeve, older Addy Zero gloves, wrist braces, it's clean. Cleat game could definitely use some work though. On to O-line. Offensive line was one of the easier choices when I was putting together this list, and as you guys probably guessed, I have chosen Trent Williams of the San Francisco 49ers. When it comes to lineman drip, Trent has been setting the standard for decades. This year, he was in a flex, tinted visor, long sleeve, a couple different Superbad models, custom thigh pads, and custom cleats that look team issue. Easily one of the cleanest looks we'll see from any of the big boys up front. The runner-up for this position is going to be Jedrick Wills of the Cleveland Browns. Wills puts it on, simple as that. I love the combo of the Speedflex with that really cool face mask. It's got eye guards and then a couple bars up at the top. Then you've got the visor, the long sleeves, cutter's gloves, which you don't see very often, custom thigh pads, and a mean spat job. Just super crispy. I honestly had a lot of fun checking out some of the big boys on the interior defensive line, and I have selected Perrion Winfrey as my winner. Winfrey was mixing it up like crazy this year. We saw him wear both the Speedflex and the F7, both with dope face masks, a visor, a lip guard, a half sleeve undershirt, sometimes a shooter sleeve, sometimes two shooter sleeves, and then some Jordans with a killer spat job. Wow. Winfrey is an excellent example of a guy who changes up his drip for every game, and I feel like that's not something you see a lot of guys do. A lot of guys find what they like, and then they just stick with it, and they don't really change, and it gets stale, I'm not gonna lie. The runner-up is going to be Daron Payne of the Washington Commanders. Up top, Payne kept it pretty simple with the usual flex, visor, lip guard, baggy long sleeves, but has one of the most unreal cleat rotations from big guys. Payne wore some Penny Hardaway inspired cleats, which is something we've never seen on the gridiron. He also wore some black Off-White 1 inspired cleats, maroon and white Nike Dunks, and lastly, some yellow Off-White Jordan 1 cleats. The cleats are really what brought him up to the runner-up spot. On to edge defenders. To my surprise, there wasn't a lot of competition at edge this year, but the winner for me is clearly Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers. Brian Burns is easily one of my favorite looks across the entire league, so this was a super simple choice for me. Burns' helmet setup is one of my favorites, and of course that's because of his Spider-Man inspired face mask. The custom face mask is unreal. He's the only guy that wears it, but the swag doesn't stop there. He's got colorful loudmouth mouth guards, crazy pregame visors, and then an amazing cleat game. This season we saw foams, Jordan 9s, Jordan 13s, and Jordan 11s. Absolutely love the gear from Brian Burns. The runner-up for edge is going to be Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Allen keeps his gear pretty simple, but I'm a big fan of how he works with the Jags uniforms. He does a great job matching all his gear, and the end result is just really, really clean. Also, you can never go wrong with an F7 and a dark Oakley visor, as you guys have seen time and time again during this video. Also, check out how clean his whiteout look was. Side note, I really like seeing shut F7s on linemen. Not only because it's my favorite helmet, I feel like you rarely see anybody on offensive line or defensive line wearing a shut helmet. Just something I noticed. Enjoy that tidbit. But yeah, big fan of Josh Allen's drip. Onto linebackers. The linebacker position is pretty stacked, but this year I have chosen Quan Alexander of the New York Jets. Quan is another guy who does a great job at switching up his gear game to game. Along with his speed flex and visor, Quan wears a bunch of different arm accessories. Sometimes it's 2 sleeves, sometimes it's just 1, sometimes it's a padded sleeve, and then sometimes it's a baggy undershirt. And just like Josh Allen, Quan does a great job matching his accessories to the Jets uniforms. But what brings Quan to number 1 is that he has one of the most impressive cleat rotations in the NFL. Just like Deebo Samuel, Quan works closely with Koda Customs, and he had tons of Cleat Heat this season. Let's take a look. He wore the LeBron 11 Christmas. The LeBron 11 in a Jets themed black and green colorway. A classic hoops throwback, the Nike Indestruct. These Jordan 4 cleats, and then these Jordan 5 cleats. The runner-up has to be the vet and one of my personal favorites, Bobby Wagner. Whoops. Over the years, I've always had a soft spot for Bobby Wagner, and that's because I love the Shut Air XP and I love the Superbad 3.0, and he stayed loyal to both throughout his career. Also, his game day visor is really clean, and then of course the ridiculous rotation of Jordan PE cleats. On a cornerback. Corner is one of the drippiest positions in the league, and I have chosen Jalen Ramsey. Now, you already know Ramsey has the best helmet setup in the NFL, but he's another guy who switches it up game to game. There is a long list of crazy stuff Jalen has put out this season, but I'll try to sum it up quickly. Double shooter sleeves, a $5 bill on his backplate, custom thigh pads, Nike PE cleats and gloves, and then plenty of other unique cleats. He wore some OBJ PEs, that was crazy, a sequin pair for Christmas, they were black and red, a pair of LeBron 11s, these were my personal favorite, and then some white and blue Nike Dunks. You guys know Jalen, you know his drip, but if you guys want more, we do have a full video dedicated to just Jalen Ramsey, so go check it out. Now, my runner-up for corner is going to be a guy with some seriously underrated drip, and that's going to be Byron Murphy of the Arizona Cardinals. Byron has crazy drip, and I feel like nobody ever talks about it. The Speedflex Oakley visor are pretty standard at this point, but he does mix up his arm accessories. Sometimes he rolls with quad sweatbands, sometimes a single arm sleeve, but he's always rocking one of the longest and baggiest undershirts in the game. He also has some unique custom thigh pads, and lastly, some of the most clever cleats out there. He rocked a couple cool, simple pairs of Nikes, a pair with heart patches, and everyone's favorite, the yellow Croc cleats. The Croc cleats alone were enough to put him up here, but this guy is seriously putting it on every week. Put some respect on his name. On to our final position, safety. For this spot, I have selected Mike Edwards of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Edwards has this unique look. It's kind of hard to describe. He has this kind of look of a big body safety and doesn't really dress like a traditional DB. Along with the usual flex and visor, Edwards rocks the quad sweatbands, wrist braces, and occasionally one of those big, bulky elbow braces. But my absolute favorite part of his look is that sometimes he takes that small hint of orange from the Buccaneers logo and implements it into his gear. For example, he wore some orange Cutter's gloves and then some shattered backboard Jordan 1s. Then he also mixed in some other Jordan 1s and then some cherry Jordan 11s. He definitely pays attention to detail, and because of that, he's number 1. The runner-up is going to be Deshaun Elliott of the Detroit Lions. Elliott is another guy who's super underrated when it comes to drip. I love the look of the Flex with the Oakley Prism visor, and then he wears a silver lip guard mouth guard, which is the perfect color. He also had some dope Joker themed thigh pads, and then my favorite look is when Elliott went with the all black accessories look a couple times, and he wore some serious Cleat Heat. He wore some off-white inspired Air Force 1 cleats, some Nike LeBron Zoom Gen 1 inspired cleats, some Kobe's, and then a couple other cool customs. That's gonna do it, guys. I know this was probably a much longer video than you guys are used to, but I really wanted to put together this kind of end of year awards type video for you guys. This video was a ton of work, so we strongly encourage you guys to drop your thoughts in the comments and even drop your very own awards. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, drop a like, comment what you guys want to see next on the channel, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. My name is Devin, also known as FBE, and thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Footballers.